morning, and welcome to Cover 2 Cook. We're on 213 for an episode. We are talking about the NFL Draft. We're talking about Notre Dame spring ball as Cover 2 Cook and family went to that this weekend. We're talking about the NBA playoffs and the NHL playoffs as a lot of games happened this weekend. We kind of have to recap them, what the series is stand at. I think hockey's better. Mr. Tim Cook might say basketball is better. So we got a lot to talk about. Let's get it started.
Yeah. I was going to do a vertical jump there. Thank you, Socks.
Travel been to Indiana, and did Cover 2 Cook get you a good hotel?
Indiana? No, I'm in Louisiana. I'm here for Mardi Gras.
I know that this might be hard, but I don't know how much you remember Friday night since we left you damn near when you fell asleep.
I got my belly full, man. I was like, warm covers and warm. I was like, I could go to sleep right now.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Jack Dorsey.
Final answer?
Yes. All right.
This is going to be a long fucking day.
All right. Thank you so much for joining Cover 2 Cook. We're on episode 213, and we got to start with the NFL Draft, as this is a football podcast. The NFL Draft concluded this past weekend as many trades happened in the first round. Players getting calls from two teams. One player had two calls, but got drafted by one team. But the story coming out of the draft is about the player that didn't get drafted, Diego Pavia. If you guys do not know who this is, then you've been living under a rock because he is in your face. He shows a lot of attitude. Well, he was a 2025 Heisman Trophy runner-up in college. He did not want to sign an agent due to not getting 5 to 10%, because that's what an agent gets when you sign with them. He said, that's my money. Well, he did not get drafted. He's the first player since 2011, I believe, that was a Heisman finalist that did not get drafted. He has accepted an invite to the Ravens rookie camp, and then today we find out as well, he is signing a 3-year deal and as an unrestricted free agent. It's a little different than, if you got drafted. But Ravens already signing him before even trying out. What did you think about that, Mr. Tim Cook?
I mean, I'm not shocked that he didn't get drafted. This reminds me of Mr. Sanders from last year. Not a really big name, but like to run the mouth. And you know what? Some teams get a little scared on that kind of stuff. So I'm not shocked that he didn't get drafted. But then to turn around in Baltimore, just turn around and give him a 3-year deal without even looking at it. I mean, I know they probably had tape. They probably brought him in a little bit. But 3-year deal already? Wow. I was kind of shocked on that.
Yeah, I will say it doesn't mean that he's going to be a part of the team. This is a lot of guaranteed money, so they could just throw this kind of away. I will say, though, yes, but remember how electric he was. Yes, playing for Vanderbilt, not playing for, Alabama or one of these big names, but he was very electric. Just so happens he's got Lamar Jackson as a starting quarterback who's trying to go for an MVP season. So it's not like he's going to play over that. And then you got Snoop Huntley underneath him after that, too. So
right.
It's really a chance just to get in the NFL.
Well, and also, too, Lamar doesn't have an agent as well. So
Okay.
I don't think he does. I don't think he's got an agent. So when they were doing his contract, was it 2 years ago? He was negotiating with that team. He was the negotiator. So Bobby's running down that same avenue. Maybe he's hoping that he'll get Lamar kind of money. I don't know. Lamar is pretty good. Bobby has not proven. He's not proven in the NFL just yet.
Well, yeah. I mean, he hasn't played it down yet. But I will say, too, he's not even in the same atmosphere as Lamar Jackson. Lisa, what did you think when you heard about this?
Isn't this the same Diego that wanted another year eligibility in college that got turned down? Is he not just the biggest crybaby out there already? I don't know. I just when I see his name in the headlines, I'm like, oh, what is he complaining about now? Oh, I didn't get drafted. Oh, I can't play college anymore. Oh, I'm not getting into the college football playoffs because my yada yada wasn't good enough. He had a whole petition signed up? I don't know. He just seems like a big whiner to me, and I'm just good for him enough. I don't think teams want that.
No, I don't think so either.
I'm actually going to the total opposite of this. I think he's a competitor. And I think that's where you're saying a whiner, but like he wanted to play an extra game to make them get in the playoffs. A Vanderbilt team that hadn't been there since, or hadn't been relevant in how many years, and then add to it, he didn't want to sign an agent. Well, there's people that try to do things that are new to other people, and they say, no, we don't like this. GMs want someone that keeps their mouth shut and stuff like that. I say screw that. Be a personality. That's how you get the commercials. That's how you get in front of the camera, is having a personality. Sometimes it can be detrimental to a team, but if you have the talent to back it up, which, hey, at 5'10", I think he is, 190 pounds, he played pretty good college football. I don't know if he could play at the NFL level, but, you know, you guys are, at least Lisa's calling him a crybaby. I think he's a competitor. He just wants his chance at playing in the NFL. I thought he would have went drafted, but obviously there was only 10 quarterbacks that got drafted. Let's just talk about that, General. Too.
Right.
Only 10 quarterbacks after a year where we were watching Shadur and all them going into the 5th round and things like that. Like, only 10 quarterbacks drafted. So Diego's not in the top 10, but he's a Heisman finalist?
Yeah.
That's a little hard to believe when you kind of look at that whole thing. Like, is college getting it wrong, or is NFL getting it wrong? And I hope NFL gets it wrong. I hope he does get a chance and actually performs well. I just think he's going to have to go to the USFL or CFL, Canadian Football League, to show that he's got that talent to take the next step.
I think also, too, just the way he is, he hasn't played one down yet. Just see this. Shador did the same thing last year, and we went through the same deal with them. And but at least he got picked. Well, of course, the owner wanted him, not the coaches did, but the owner wanted him. But I mean, let's see what he brings. But to come out like this early, it's just like you haven't played one down yet, buddy. Just relax, okay? Calm down.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we want these players to have personality, but then we penalize them when they do have a personality. So what do we want? Like, we want a face of a franchise, but we have to have it a certain way. Well, that's bullshit then. I say go against it.
I know.
Be outlaw on it. So
I just didn't like his personality back in college, so I'm not going to like it now. So
okay, hey. Another quarterback, too, that did not get drafted that U of I fans will always remember is Luke Altmaier. Luke Altmaier obviously changed Illinois for what they were. Did he have NFL talent? Probably not. But, like, when you think of U of I and their little run these past couple years, you got to think of Luke Altmaier in that situation. He also didn't get drafted. Again, there is other football leagues. There's USFL that is getting people in there. Ask Aubrey. Aubrey is the highest paid. A little bit easier maybe as a kicker than a quarterback, but yes, Luke Altmaier was another one that did not get drafted as well. Anything else from the draft, Mr. Tim Cook?
I think I've got two takes. One, this is a hot take. Drew Aller will be QB number 1 for Pittsburgh this year.
No. Okay.
Yes.
So move on.
Because
What's
I
the
don't
other
think
hot
Rodgers
take?
is there. Yeah, my second one is, and I will give you a shiny new dime if you know who Mr. Irrelevant was and who's the team that picked him.
It would be the Cleveland Browns.
Okay, wrong.
Okay, yeah, I don't know. And I don't know who the player was.
Okay, Denver picked him, my team right here. And his name is, I'm not making this up neither, Red Murdoch.
Yes.
He's the last pick, Mr. Irrelevant for the 2026 NFL Draft. I love the name. I had to look it up to make sure this was a real person. It is a real person. I don't know where he played from, but that is his name, Reed Murdoch. It sounded like something off the A-Team that was a movie, a TV show, and made into a movie.
Yeah.
It really does. It really does. It's hilarious. I had seen the two things I looked up, and that one was hilarious.
Well, I will say the only thing I'm saying no to the Pittsburgh thing is because they just put a transition tag on Aaron Rodgers. So Pittsburgh wants him back. And that's when those transition tags happen, that means if you're going to go somewhere else, we want the last offer in it. So if you're saying if he does end up going somewhere, then Drew Aller does have a chance. But also remember, they have a Ohio State quarterback that's still there as well that actually won a national championship, that actually did something in college compared to what Drew Aller did. So I think he's got a little bit of a ladder to build up before he's A1 for them.
Right.
All right, well, we're talking about college players going to the NFL, but we went this weekend to the Spring Ball of Notre Dame. Cover 2 Cook and family traveled to South Bend this weekend for Notre Dame Spring Ball. The morning started out a bit chilly, as a lot of us wanted to wear sweatshirts and jeans and things like that, and it ended with sunburns and some great football. I thought it was interesting how the offense and the defense also got their scoring. I have paid attention in the past, but I don't think I've ever paid attention to how the scoring works. I just kind of wanted to see how certain players played. I will say it was exciting to watch some football on a Saturday. Very sad when you had to leave and realize that months away before we actually have a college football Saturday. But what did you think about this weekend, Mr. Tim Cook?
I think the things that stand out, the defense looks really good, really, really good. Of course, Lisa's dad and your father-in-law, Paul, also said that when you're not rushing the quarterback, your defense is going to look really good.
Yeah.
And I agreed with that. I think Snead looked good, and Ethan Long both had interceptions. The kids of former football players, Fitzgerald, and Burris both had touchdowns. Burris is one that toe tap in the end zone. I thought that looked so awesome. CJ Carr didn't look really the greatest, but the other kid, I can't think of his name, looked really good. Grubbs looked really good. But the biggest thing is 45,000 people went to this. Yeah. We were there. The whole lower bowl was full. I mean, they wouldn't let anybody up in the upper bowl sit. That is the second highest attendance since 2007. And that was Jimmy Clausen year.
Yeah. Well,
so, it was a great weather. They had the lacrosse team, the number one team in the nation was a lacrosse. Yes.
Yeah.
They were playing. So, I mean, you had people from that probably came in. It was nice warm weather, a little more warmer than we expected because on the way back, we stopped and got gas, and it seemed like we were it was cold as hell. So.
Yeah, it dropped 20 degrees. I mean, it was 20 degree difference from when we left to when we got in South Bend. And then when we got from South Bend to Joliet, Mokina area, it was 20 degrees less than that. It was crazy where you could see where the cold weather was right at. I agree. I think the thing that stood out for me for Notre Dame is Williams. The running back is going to be a staple piece for them. Obviously, you're not going to show your playbook in spring ball, right? You're going to do a lot of your basic, a lot of the thud. We called it thud in college, where you wrap up, you're not bringing them to the ground. But then the second, third squads got in, and it was live. I love that mentality because you do need to see if these guys can tackle. Those A1s you kind of know, but Williams is going to be a huge factor, but I just miss Notre Dame having that wide receiver that is a big kid. It just seems like and maybe the game has changed and I'm just not understanding the change, but where's the Jeff Samardzija? You know what I mean? Where's the big wide receiver that goes up and gets that ball? I think Fitzgerald can be that over time, but we might need him this year. I mean, we might need that going into this year, but what did you think about going to the game, Lisa?
Oh, I thought it was awesome. It was something I haven't experienced before, going to a spring training. So it was a different atmosphere for me to just even see offense versus defense. But I thought it was really cool. The overall atmosphere, we got there early to the stadium and it was pretty empty. And we're like, okay, yeah, this is cool for us. We picked our seats. We're in a good viewing point. And then by the time the game started, that stadium was packed.
Yep.
That was insane. And people just kept flowing in. There wasn't really much of a really down time. People just kept coming in. I think a lot of people see how good Notre Dame is expected to be this year. And they wanted to be yeah, I saw it coming. Or I saw them at least at some point. Because the season tickets this year are insane.
Yeah. It's going to be hard to see a game this year.
For sure. But I agree. You guys called out the star players that I also thought were, outstanding and kind of made their impact. I'm excited to see them play. It was absolutely a little a downer just being oh my God, we have to go through the entire summer before we even see these guys again. It was oh my God.
Yeah, I will say it did give a little bit of a fall day because it started out a little cool, got warm, and then by the time we got home, it was cool again. It was really cool getting to bring a lot more. Like obviously, me and Mr. Tim Cook and Lisa have been there, but getting to bring like your father and then my stepdad and my brothers and getting everyone there to see Notre Dame. I actually got to take a sigh of relief once we got there because we had a van that obviously took every bump and gee, many criminy. We slept in a hotel room where I think they put plywood down under the bed because it was harder than a rock. But what was cool too, I would say, is what I love about Notre Dame is obviously the kickoff, right? Like hearing "Here Comes the Irish" and then the song as well. They did it, but obviously no kickoff, so at least they had that moment as well. And then the mini games in between the sessions, the baby crawl, where I could see myself being down there, and my baby gets right to that line, but can't just lean over.
Yeah.
And I want to go back because there should be a review or a protest because the one girl, she walked that whole thing. That's cheating. It's a baby crawl, not a walk, okay? And then what was the other one? And also too, one other thing, we got to see Jeremiah Love.
Yeah.
And got to see him there. The crowd went absolutely crazy for him because they show him the highlight tape. And if you're a true Notre Dame fan, that was the guy. I mean, that just it was great to see CJ Carr kind of step into a place. And you're like, okay, man, what is he going to be? But Jeremiah Love, it just seemed like when the ball got handed off or he got the ball in his hands, it could go to the end zone. So getting to see him there, Mills, it was a little weird not to see Jadarian Price there because that's another first rounder that got drafted. But yeah, overall, great little spring ball.
Yeah, you got to be commended. You drove the whole thing. I thought you were awesome as a driver because you hit about every pothole between Mokina and South Bend. Good job on that. All good drivers.
I aimed it for him.
Good thing you had a rental car, buddy.
Well, and I'll say this too: whatever Illinois is selling, it ain't fixing no damn roads.
No, not on 80. It ain't.
Whether it's gambling or if it's stuff like that. Speaking of gambling, and I didn't write this down, but we got to talk about it. Brendan Sorsby out of Texas Tech is taking time off due to gambling addiction, and he was started to get investigated last year by the NCAA. He's taking time off because now we're finding out that it might be a little bit more. Now, before we get too far in this is all allegedly, okay? And I will say, it doesn't sound like he's betting on his games. But this is the bed you made when you decided to get in bed with gambling. These kids are making so much damn money. I remember having a part-time job just to be able to go get a little fast food, have a little beer money, okay? These kids are making more money than I'm going to make in my lifetime. They're making it in a year, okay? So I don't see how this is, again, a problem on the kid. This is what you put the environment around this kid, and then you're surprised that you're seeing this. But what did you think when you heard about this, Lisa?
I was just this is exactly what they were asking for. You made it way too available on so many different platforms for these betting things to happen. It's just, it was bound to happen. We were gonna see this happen. And I'm sure this is really just the start of it. I'm sure there's more of it happening that just isn't as big as this or as called out like this, but I'm absolutely sure this is happening elsewhere too. But this is the bet they made.
Yep, definitely agree. What did you think about it, Mr. Tim Cook?
I don't know. Did you watch Dan Patrick today? They had Dan Wenzel on, which is, I think, may have broke this story about this, that he was betting on, when he was a freshman at Indiana, betting on Indiana games.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Yeah.
He was also betting on Cincinnati games, not Cincinnati football games, but Cincinnati Reds games, pitch by pitch.
Yep.
Wow. That's he's due to lose. He's probably going to lose. This Wenzel said that he probably won't play another down in the NCAA because the NCAA is investigating it, not the government. It's more of the NCAA is investigating this.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't play another down, he's out 4 or 5. Because now what's Texas Tech going to do?
Yeah.
Because they just paid $4 or $5 million for this kid. Well, that contract is null and void now if he's not going to play a down for him, unless it was guaranteed, which I doubt, but it might be. But yeah, he just That's not good. It's not good. There's more to come on this, but in that interview, that was some of what I watched. It's not good.
Well, and it just sucks too because yes, like Texas Tech is going to take, which I could give two shits. Even though this happened at Notre Dame, I could give two shits. I mean, we're hearing Riley Leonard say that he's making less as a Colt than he did at Notre Dame, right? Like I understand that the money flows no matter what team you're rooting for, but at the same time too, like I could care less if Texas Tech has a quarterback. It's about what you put this kid through. And then now you're surprised that this is the interactions that are happening?
Yep.
I mean, our phone is today's way of life. And you're allowing them to gamble on their phone like this? It's just, yeah, I hope he gets the help he needs. I hope that
I agree.
It does lead to him being able to play again. But I will say, I don't understand how the government could get involved because he's over the age of 18.
Yep.
But if you're betting on baseball or betting on something, no matter if it's Indiana, Texas Tech, whatever, it just doesn't look good.
No.
All right, now let's move it over to the NBA playoffs, where Mr. Tim Cook is our NBA analyst, and what happened this weekend.
All right, over the weekend, including Monday night, Orlando Magic took a 3-1 lead over the number 1 seed Detroit by winning last night 94-88. Detroit committed 20 turnovers. I called this. We'll go back to the tape or the video. I thought Orlando could beat Detroit as the first one of the number 8 seeds beating a 1 seed. They're just getting manhandled on offense. Their defense for Orlando is top notch. Next, OKC swept the series on the Suns. The Thunder are 12-0 under Mark D'Antoni, or I don't know, I can't say it right. While the Suns are continue their turmoil on in first round action. If I was Devin Booker, I'd be wanting to get the hell out of there because I think that team is in a disarray. The Nuggets stave off elimination with 125-113 victory last night as the Joker was dominant. Without Ant-Man and DiVincenzo, I don't know if the Timberwolves have got it. I think the Nuggets can finish out the series in the next 2 games. Wemby came back after the concussion. And they take a 3-1 lead over the Trailblazers. The Spurs are the first team to be down 15 at halftime in a playoff game, be down by 15 and win by 15.
Crazy.
15 or more points. So I think Boston's up 3-1, despite Embiid being back. I think Boston's going to get this one. The Rockets stave off elimination with a win Sunday as they hold LeBron to just 10 points. Now they're going to go back to L.A. Toronto ties the series with the Cavs at 2 as Brandon Ingram and R.J. Barrett, ex-Knick, come up big in Game 4. So to put it all in one big bow, Cleveland and Toronto, Cavs are tied 2-2 with 2 teams playing Wednesday night in Cleveland. The Knicks and Hawks are series tied at 2-2. They play again Thursday night in Atlanta. Celtics and 76ers. Celtics lead that series 3-1. They play again tonight in Boston, which they could easily, clinch this one. Magic lead the series against the Pistons 3-1. They play again Wednesday night in Detroit, Western Conference. Nuggets and Timberwolves. Wolves lead this series 3-2. They play again Thursday night in Minnesota. Spurs, Trailblazers. Spurs lead that series 3-1. They play again tonight in San Antonio. Lakers, Rockets. Lakers lead that series. They play again Wednesday night in LA, which I think they've got to win. You cannot go back to Houston at 3-2.
Yep.
Because I think this goes 7. I really do. Because I think LA can get beat in Houston, and now you're going back there. LeBron needs all the rest he can get. Because if they win, they're going to get OKC, and they're going to need everything they can get with OKC. And OKC swept the series with the Suns 4-0.
Nice. I do have one question. So, do you feel that there's one conference that's better than the other? Do you think the West is better than the East?
The West is. There could be 3 teams out of the West that go to the finals. I think right now there's one out of the East, and that's the Celtics. That's it. I think the Celtics.
And with that being said, though, do you think the Celtics can fight with any of those 3 teams, or do you think it'll be?
I think so. I think they could fight with them. I think they could fight with. I don't know about OKC, but I think the Spurs and Nuggets, they could. I think they could beat either ones. I don't know if they could beat OKC. OKC is just too tough. And now they're going to have plenty of rest since they swept their series. So they'll get the winner. If that LA Houston goes 7, they're going to be ready to go. That could be a 30-point blowout if they have to go 7 games, Lakers and Houston.
Yeah, well, and I will say, too, Williams now giving, with his injury for OKC, if he can get more time to get back, that helps them as well. All right, let's turn it over to the real sport. Let's talk about some NHL playoffs. Lisa, did you watch some hockey this weekend?
I did watch hockey this weekend, and without you by me, too, by the way.
Oh, okay. I will say, I was like, I know you did because I did, and I took the big TV. 2 teams have advanced so far with the Hurricanes and Avs sweeping the Senators and Kings. I think I think I read that Hurricanes weren't losing after any period in that series. That's a domination, okay? But don't think that it's going to keep going like that, okay, Hurricane fans? While the Avs looked really good as well, but you know who they play next round? Either the Wild or the Stars. So they need as much rest as they possibly can, as that series is tied up at 2-2. 2 series could end tonight. We're recording Tuesday night, okay? It could be, so when you're watching this, you're going to be like, oh, these series are over. I think that could happen, as the Sabres are up 3-1 on the Bruins, and the Ducks are up 3-1 on the Oilers. This is the Tuesday night, so, you might have it, but who is going to actually win that game? I think Sabres win. I think they close out the Bruins. I don't think the Oilers will lose against the Ducks. I think they keep their advancing on. So I think only 1 out of the 2 tonight will actually be ended. 3 series are tied up at 2-2. Wild and Stars, Canadians and Lightning, Mammoth and Golden Knights. Finally, Flyers are still up 3-2 on the Pengs. But they were 3-0 at one point. The Pengs have scored 2 games in a row, or won 2 games in a row. Sid the Kid is putting this team on his back right now. I do have a hot take, and I know. I say I hate hot takes.
What?
But I have a hot take. I think 1 series goes 7 games. And it's not the Flyers and the Penguins. I think the Flyers win their next game and end this series. Because if they don't, they will lose Game 7 if they go to it. But I think there is 1 series where the 2 teams are equally matched, and I think that is the Wild and the Stars.
Oh.
I said going before this playoffs that these 2 teams are just evenly matched. They're going to go down to the wire. The worst part about this, though, is whoever wins has to take on the Colorado Avalanche, okay? Which is the best team in hockey right now. So they have to take on one of those. I will say, if you're watching any night, tomorrow night, Wednesday night, great hockey. Great hockey. A lot of series at 2-2. It's going to be, as these games get closer to Game 7, you're going to see a lot more chippiness after plays. You're not going to see fights because penalties cause problems for other teams, blah, blah, blah. But you're going to see a lot of chippiness. That is the hockey recap. Lisa, you got any things that you've supposedly been watching hockey without me?
I'm rooting for the Sabres, and I'm rooting for the Flyers, Philadelphia Flyers. Yeah. So those are the 2 teams that I'm looking out for that I think are going to do well.
Yeah, I will say we watched the Ducks Friday night, and the jerseys are a little bit better than obviously the red ones, but they just got to lean into it, man. Lean into it. But Mr. Tim Cook, I know you watched some hockey. What do you think?
Yeah, we watched in overtime we watched Tampa Bay and Montreal, which Montreal ended up winning. I think that's the one that goes 7. I really do. I think that's the one that goes 7. And Boston's done. I watched a station out of Boston yesterday. The goalie, Swayman, is arguing with his own teammates.
Yeah.
He's yelling at his own team on the bench. There's disarray in Boston right now, and I don't think they come back from this. I think they might get beat tonight.
Yeah, I mean, they're down 3-1, so the chances of them coming back. Yeah. But I will say, the Boston Bruins made a comment before the series started that teams can't match up with us. We're big, we're fast. Well, Buffalo kind of has some big and fast guys as well, too. They didn't make it to the playoffs because they just let bums in here. So I'm glad that for it. I also want Buffalo to keep going because their crowd is absolutely awesome. Yeah. The atmosphere for these games, I would like to see a little bit more fighting though, because I feel like that's what I'm missing out of the Oilers and Ducks series. They're all finesse, not so much physicality. I think
that's Edmonton. they're finesse. And then they go up against a Tampa Bay, and they can't get over the hump because Tampa Bay's too rough. They're physical. They are physical. They're a physical team.
Florida is the team that's beat them the past.
Right.
Yeah. So we'll have to see. But that is episode 213 as we talked about the NFL draft, Notre Dame spring ball, NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs. We talked about gambling. We talked about a lot here. If you like what we do, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Have a great rest of your week. We will talk to you on Friday, which we recap the past couple days in the NHL and NBA world. And then what to expect over this weekend. Maybe we get into a little NASCAR. We've been watching a little NASCAR, haven't we, Lisa? No? Okay. Well, I keep turning it on, but it keeps getting turned off. I'm just trying to find a way to watch it. All right. Well, you guys have a great week, and we will talk to you on Friday.